Arguably, the best two roller coasters at Cedar Point will now go head to head, competing to find out which one is the better roller coaster. I know, some of you are probably already screaming Steel Vengeance, of course. I mean, duh, right? Well, hold on there, cowboy. Let's compare these two epic coasters based on some categories and see how they match up. Ride stats. To start things off, I'm going to compare the ride stats, and Steel Vengeance takes a clean sweep. It's obviously the biggest of the two roller coasters. Though Maverick is pretty comparable with speed, it's only 4 miles per hour slower than Steel Vengeance. Overall, Steel Vengeance is the longer, taller, faster, and has the most inversions, thus earning itself 2 points. Ride launch. So yeah, this one is kind of a cheat, but I mean, we're kind of comparing apples and oranges with these two roller coasters, so I have to give Maverick credit for its two launches. The first is basically a glorified lift hill, but the second packs a decent punch, accelerating you up to that 70 mile per hour max speed. I love the second launch. It's a fun moment that even has some decent theming, especially for amusement park. Maverick gets 1 point for the launch category. Ride view. I've basically used this category with every single coaster Duel, so I'm not going to stop now. The clear winner is Steel Vengeance, obviously. Maverick keeps low to the ground, so it really doesn't have a view. Steel Vengeance lets you look out over Lake Erie. Even though it's going to win this category, Steel Vengeance doesn't even have the best view in the park. Probably not even the third best view in the park. But we're not comparing it against the other rides in the park, so Steely gets 1 more point for ride view. Ride theming. If you watched my review of Steel Vengeance, you know that there is one category that held this coaster back from earning a perfect 10, and that was theming. I know Cedar Point is an amusement park, so I don't expect much for theming, but Steel Vengeance is very lacking in the theming department. Sure, it has a cool sign and a couple neat items and such to look at through the queue, which is mostly like the light posts and poster themed with Western appeal. But Steel Vengeance has one of the blandest stations in the entire park, which is really disappointing. Maverick, on the other hand, has great theming for an amusement park. The station fits in nicely with Frontier Town. The rockwork, tunnel, pond, and fountain tie this ride together. Maverick wins this point. Airtime. Steel Vengeance is basically the undisputed king when it comes to airtime, so I think we all know who is going to win this point. Steel Vengeance is loaded with airtime from beginning to end non-stop. As for Maverick, it has a couple great moments of airtime, but nothing to the extremes of Steel Vengeance. Maverick is all about that out-of-control experience, throwing you into crazy turns and fast transitions. Steel Vengeance easily gets this point. Ride intensity. So this is a very tough one to compare, because both coasters are quite intense in their own way. Steel Vengeance has lots of intense airtime moments, but is somewhat lacking in the positive G category. Maverick, on the other hand, has some good, strong positive Gs, but not nearly as much intense airtime. Though I will say this, I did almost gray out on Maverick during that first turn after the first drop. It has some good Gs there. I don't think I ever came close to graying out on Steel Vengeance. With that said, I think this is going to be a tie. Both coasters are intense, just in different ways. Best first drop. Both roller coasters feature a drop of at least 90 degrees. Maverick is actually beyond 90 degrees with a drop of 95 degrees. Both are very exciting and deliver good airtime. However, I think I'm going to award this point to Maverick. Regardless of where you sit on Maverick, that first drop has some great airtime and even better ejector airtime in the back. It's quick, snappy drop that throws you right into a fast, sharp turn. Steel Vengeance has a great drop as well, but it's actually like the least forgettable moment of airtime in the entire ride, which is actually kind of saying a lot because the first drop has decent airtime. Maverick gets this point. Best inversion. Originally, Maverick was designed and built with 3 inversions, but its Heartline roll proved to be too intense for the ride trains, so it was removed before ever opening to the public. Unfortunately for Maverick, if that inversion still existed, I might have been awarding this point to it, but because it's no longer there, Steel Vengeance is the clear winner here. To be honest here, I'm not exactly sure which inversion I would say is the best, but I think I'm going to go with that last 0G roll. It's fast, and because it's inside the ride structure, you feel like you're going to smash into the supports. Maverick does have 2 inversions, which is the horseshoe roll. I do enjoy Maverick's inversions, but they're just not as fun as the 0G rolls on Steel Vengeance. Oh yeah, and we can't forget about that 0G stall on Steel Vengeance as well. Ride Smoothness. Since this was another category in their personal ratings that differed from each other, I thought it should come up in this duel here as well. I think the clear winner here is Steel Vengeance. That ride is butter smooth. Maverick is still a rather smooth ride, though it can have a rattle, and some might not enjoy the way that Maverick throws you around like a ragdoll. But regardless, Steel Vengeance just passes Maverick with this, earning another point. So there's a couple more categories that I'm going to mention, but both Steel Vengeance and Maverick tie in them, so I'm not going to spend too much time. That's first we have originality. Both roller coasters are very original in their own way. Steel Vengeance is kind of like the new upcoming airtime machine that I think a lot of coasters are going to be based off of its type of layout. As for Maverick, I feel like Maverick actually kind of paved the way for Rocky Mountain construction in the way that they design their coasters with their fast, snappy transitions. So I consider that one a tie. And the other category would be the fun factor. Both roller coasters are amazingly fun, again, in their own way. Steel Vengeance has the best airtime around, which is just so much fun. And Maverick, it just has so much to offer to it. I mean, with all the turns and the launches, the airtime, inversions, it's just kind of like the complete package. So again, the fun factor, they both tie in that category as well. All right, the final tally comes to Steel Vengeance with 6 points and Maverick with 3, which makes Steel Vengeance our winner. Yay! All right, I mean, who am I kidding? We all knew that Steel Vengeance was going to win this fight. Honestly, if I picked Maverick, I'd have like a riot on my hands or something. So what's funny here, if you were to go back and look at my reviews of both Steel Vengeance and Maverick, you would see that Maverick earned a better rating than Steel Vengeance. This was only because of the theming category, which gave Maverick the edge. However, I didn't give either a personal rating, which would have actually been a 10 for both, but regardless, if we compare them side by side, Steel Vengeance is the better ride. As I already mentioned, it's hard to compare these two coasters as they are quite different. But if I was forced to ride one of these roller coasters during my next visit, I'd pick Steel Vengeance. Well, that's it for today's duel. What do you think? Is Steel Vengeance the clear winner? Let me know in the comments. As always, please subscribe, check out more of my other content, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.